It's Great Day Houston. From food, fun, health, family, in other words, your life. It's your morning wake-up call to everything Houston. And here's your host, Deborah Duncan.
Okay, so you might be wondering what this is all about. It's not a fashion statement, so don't rush out and get some. Instead, one of our guests on the show today insists that we wear them. I'll tell you why in a minute. Now back to the white gloves. Our next guest never leaves home without them. Why? We'll let her tell us. Please welcome Antiques Appraiser Dr. Lori and some audience members who are anxious to hear what she has to say about their treasures. Welcome!
Good morning!
Yay!
How are you?
Good. All right, very important to have these white gloves.
Very important, yeah, because what happens with the white gloves is they will make sure that the oils on your hands are not attracted to your objects, which deteriorate the object and devalue the object. So if you're handling a lot of objects, I evaluate about 20,000 objects a year, right? So I evaluate a lot of objects. You don't want to have the oils on your hands transferred. So that's what the white gloves are for. They're very important.
Yeah. All right. Before we get to appraising some things that our audience members brought, there's kind of this debate in the antiques world about what's really antique. Sometimes things are just maybe old, but they're not antique.
Well, you know, I was in the green room with Mr. Al Jarreau.
Yes.
Serious. And he said, I don't want you to talk about me, Dr. Lori.
Oh.
And I said, you are priceless. And here's the definition for the antique. You have to be 100 years old or more, greater, to be an antique. Anything else, vintage, like you and me.
Yeah, okay.
And Mr. Jarreau.
Yeah. All right, and Mr. Jarreau, he's like scatalicious, isn't he?
Yeah.
Scatalicious. Okay, let's start with some of our audience members who have some things to appraise, starting with Tiffany, who happens to be one of our producers here at Great Day.
Hi, Tiffany.
You're not going to need white gloves for any of this.
Well, no, that's not true. That's not true. You've got to make sure that you protect everything, particularly these objects that are younger. And younger objects can be valuable too.
Yeah, and that's what devalues them when they're not protected.
Darn right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, so Tiffany, you have a Pez collection.
I have this small Pez collection of about 500.
Excellent.
I have a whole room dedicated to it.
Excellent.
But from what I hear and looking online and stuff, I have a gun that's supposed to be worth more than, you know, the $2 I pay for it.
Okay.
So I've never seen a Pez gun.
I think it was only out for about maybe a year or two.
And the watches are relatively unusual, and some of the more unusual things other than the Pez. You have some relatively older Pez for Pez pieces too. You have some newer ones too, which are good. Anytime you add anything to a collection, right, we want to collect in categories, you increase the value of every piece. So even the cheapy little things are going to be valuable. The gun's going to come in somewhere around $450, $500.
Wow.
Hello.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where did you get that?
I got it from an ex-boyfriend.
Hey!
My husband's going to love this. But when we broke
love
up,
that.
he wanted it back, and I was like, no, I'm going to have to keep
How much
that.
did he pay for it, do you know?
Gifts or gifts?
I don't know. He got it online. So he had 2 of them, and he gave me one as a gift. And so, like, we could have matching.
Yeah, hopefully he's not watching right now trying to get his gun back. Yeah, there's your Pez collection right there.
So it's a little small.
On display, nice.
Just takes up a whole room.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, I think it's awesome. My husband's going to make me sell it.
$5 in your pocket instead of a gun in your pocket.
Try not to break up the collection. Thanks for bringing it in.
All right, up next we have John. Hey, John.
Hey.
Nice to see you.
Okay, what you have here?
Okay, these are products that have been passed down to through generation. I have no idea. I know they're over 100 years old, and I've been handling them with my hands and not white gloves. These pictures, I believe, are probably early 1800s of some relatives.
Here's how you tell. Okay, costume will tell you, right?
Yeah.
What they're wearing is going to tell you. If they've been, again, colored over or hand painted, some of them have been painted in the 20th century, touched up. You know, if you're not Picasso, don't paint something, okay? But basically, that's what you want to think about with these types of pieces. In general, these pieces are easily 200, 250 years old.
Wow.
Some of them.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Dr.
you're
Lori,
looking, I'm
there's
sorry.
there's some wear on some of these things, the cracking. Sometimes it's not always bad that you have some damage that shows up.
Absolutely true. You know, that basically indicates, again, the time period. It also speaks to where they've been maintained or where they've been displayed. So you want to keep them off exterior walls, not near a window, not near in a foyer, not near the door, those kinds of things. In terms of value, You've got pieces like this, which are hand-painted portraits. Those can go anywhere between $200 and $300. These pieces, much older, but about the same value. Age is not an automatic value indicator. So about $250 on these too. Just because it's old doesn't mean it's valuable.
Right.
It has to be, again, an important piece in terms of it. The collection itself is a good piece too. Tell me about the letters a little bit.
Oh, the letters, there are over 70 letters in there. They're from a captain that belonged in our family. They're from 1817 up to 1873. That's an itinerary of what was in one of the ships, either going from New Orleans up to New England or from New England. I'm not sure which one that is.
Great. Yeah, I just picked one arbitrarily.
The further we get away from handwriting anymore, because everything's done on the computer.
That's absolutely true.
The more value you could probably assess to some of these things.
Right. I'd like to see the collection maintained. I'd like to see them out of the pocketbook, if you will, the purse, in a Solander box, which is an acid-free box. And value on this collection is probably going to start about $300 and go as high as $450.
And it has a lot to do, too, with the significance. If there's a historical significance tied to it, all those things could impact the value.
Exactly right. And if it relates to your family, if you say, oh, I love Deborah and I want to give them all to her and then have her sell them, decrease value if you sever the provenance or get rid of the family value.
Yeah, and John, I would make up stories. I have, company
make up
over.
stories.
One of our founding fathers, right here. One of our founding fathers was one of my relatives, right here. Who's going to challenge you on that? But really, because is there something specific that you want to know from Dr. Laurie?
No, I was just curious, actually, about who. Can you tell who painted these?
Some you can.
You can.
But in terms of it, some things, not everything's supposed to be signed. Everyone's looking for a signature, and that's not always what we are supposed to be looking for.
You went and got a picture. It's almost like when you went to get a picture today with a camera. It's like, oh, here's your picture.
Well, that's right. Well, the thing was, it was seen as inappropriate for the artists of this time period to actually get paid for their work and then also sign or market their work. We think that's, what do you mean I can't market my work? But you know what? That's what we see. That's what we see.
Thanks, thank you.
It's nice to meet you.
Okay, up next we have JaCarolyn. Hello, JaCarolyn.
Hi, are we moving to you?
Okay.
My mistake.
Move
these hips over here.
My mom actually brought this from a neighborhood thrift store.
Wonderful.
And it wasn't even $5, and she brought it as is.
Okay. So you're concerned about these little chunks taken out of it. The inclusions, as a museum professional would call them. It is called the Balloon Cellar. She is modeled after a Royal Dalton English figurine of porcelain, but your piece is not porcelain. Your piece is made of something called chalkware. Chalkware was very popular in the 1930s and 40s. You can go to a carnival and get a piece of chalkware. And she was a very, very famous image. The balloon seller. They'd stand on the streets of London and sell balloons. Terrific, right?
Yeah.
Now,
so a great piece just in itself, and if you buy it, of course, because you like it, first of all.
Well, most people buy things because they like them.
Yeah.
But my mama would say, it's just as easy to fall in love with a rich man as it is to fall in love with a poor one.
A rich piece of porcelain as it is a poor piece of porcelain.
Let's buy quality, right? Okay. So basically, you've got a mark on the bottom which says the Roman Artworks, very, very well-known St. Louis company that made these for carnivals, world's fairs, and all these types of things. Today's market, you could command about $65 for it. So your mom's $5 investment, not bad.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I love the shoes.
Thank you, JaCarolyn. Oh, and I love your shoes. Let's take a look at her shoes down here. These are some fantastic shoes.
She is serious.
Yeah, what size shoes are those, JaCarolyn?
They're size 7.
You're lucky, because if it was a 9, you would be barefoot going back home today. All right, thank you very much. Dr. Laurie could appraise your antiques this weekend. She's going to be at the Sugarland Home and Garden Show at the Stafford Center. You can find out more on our website, greatdayhouston.com. And everyone in the audience, by the way, is going home with a ticket to the show. And remember to look for Dr. Laurie on the new season of Auction Kings on the Discovery Channel. She's going to stay with us throughout the show and take a look at some more things that the audience members have brought. All right, let's check in with Antiques Appraiser Dr. Laurie, along with Ann. What you find over there?
Hi, Ann. Tell me how you acquired this.
A friend of mine gave it to me. It was passed down through his family, and he was moving and cleaning out his garage, and I was the lucky recipient.
Okay. Do you like it?
Well, what
Trick question. Trick question. This basically would keep your powder in it. You're going out hunting and you need your ammunition, and there's your powder. Basically, you can see here, I don't know if you can get it, but you can basically see all the animal imagery. Tells you that it's a huntsman's piece, and value on it is about $65 to $85. Yeah, thanks for bringing it in.
Wow. Well, and if you have no use for gunpowder, you can sneak that into a game and put something else in it. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Lori. But right now, let's check in with Antiques Appraiser Dr. Lori again. She is with Christine. Lori?
Hi, Christine. How'd you acquire these weapons?
Well, these are from my husband's grandfather, and we don't really know much about them at all.
Okay, French bayonets, late 19th century, pretty nice pieces, marked as such, presentation swords. And you typically they retail when a value is comparable. Value on these about $100 a piece. Then you have this piece of Nazi memorabilia.
Yes, my grandfather served in the war for U.S., and he came about this and brought it home with him.
Okay. Basically what you have here is you have the Third Reichsm, and value on this is how we have our own silverware, right? Value on this about $300 to military collectors. Wow. Nice. Very rare and unusual. Nice.
All right, Dr. Lori, thank you very much. Dr. Lori is giving free appraisals at the Sugarland Stafford Center this weekend for the Home and Garden Show, but we're ending with what you think is probably the most interesting thing you've seen from audience members today.
Yeah, we have a $150 arts and crafts vase, nice planter, and then this piece is a signed letter from Robert Kennedy, only about a month just before his death.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah. So that's a nice piece. Autographs, remember you want to look at the paper, you want to look at how they signed it, what they signed it with. Value on this, just about $900.
That's pretty cool. And almost priceless if you're a history buff.
Yeah, yeah. Priceless if you're a history buff. And remember that you want to keep it in as good condition as you can, so don't forget your gloves. Where are your gloves?
Yeah, I'm not going to touch the letter. All right, but Dr. Lori, thank you very much.
Thank you. Free appraisals, come see us. Yeah.
Stafford Center in Sugarland for the Home and Garden Show. Thank all of you in our studio audience, and thank you all at home for joining us. We hope you have a great